Joining me, my name is Toby Muse. I am here in Lafayette Park, just in front of the White House. You can see the White House is just over there beyond those trees in the foreground. But look at this. Look at how empty this is. This today has been the site of the protest against police brutality against ethnic minorities, and they've been protesting all day here. Now, where have the crowd gone? We're going to go. So what happened? This was about an hour or so ago, an hour and a half ago. They said to go for a walk. We're just going to step down a few steps. They decided to go for a walk. So they started walking down what is H Street, and we'll see them here. So we're going to see them. Now, they got to the end of that block and the police wouldn't let them go any further if we just keep doing. So you can see how people are walking back. They're walking back to the White House. The police wouldn't let them go any further. So I'll just stay here for a second. So what happened is the people got to the end of that block and there were some clashes. There was tear gas, there was some flashbangs, which the police used to kind of try to disperse these crowds. But the crowds remain here. Last night we were covering this protest until 1 o'clock in the morning, and it was intense. There was lots of tear gas. And then there was a minority who started attacking some of the buildings around as they were dispersed from in front of the White House. They even started a fire in one restaurant. They were breaking a lot of the windows, and they kind of spread out across a lot of downtown Washington, D.C. Now, we know Donald Trump is in the White House, and Donald Trump is not happy with these protesters, as you can imagine. He's been talking about, that they're all funded by George Soros, the philanthropist in Europe, and also that all of these protests are the work of radical leftists, and he's also blamed Antifa. Now, what is Antifa? It stands for anti-fascist. And Donald Trump said today in a tweet that because of all of these protests, he was going to designate that group a terrorist organization. Now, there's a couple of things here. It's not clear legally if he can do that. It's not clear if he can label a domestic organization a terrorist organization. The second part is Antifa is not a hierarchical group, an organization with a president and members and you become a member. No, it's a loose collection of people who occasionally come together, who occasionally come together to work on so-called anti-fascist work. Let's walk a little bit down so you can get an idea of what has been. So you can see that there's still a lot of people out there. They're carrying these signs, Black Lives Matter. Throughout the day, they've been having these chants of no justice, no peace. If only our pain bothered you as much as our protest, Black Lives Matter. True peace is not merely the absence of tension, it's the presence of justice. So you see these beautiful signs all day that people have worked really hard at. See, they're complaining about the police. They're saying that they can't look at all of these people coming towards us. So we're going to walk down a little bit. As I say, there's been occasional flashbangs have been going off. Tear gas has been going off. It's been quiet for a while. So let's just see what people are saying. But the mood seems up. The mood seems good. What we're seeing here, interestingly as well, is the vast majority of people are not interested in clashes with the police. They're interested in asserting their rights to protest what's going on, but they're not looking. And in fact, we saw a video someone posted on Twitter earlier of someone who stood by there and started chipping away to make these rocks. Now, what they do is they take a hammer, they take a hammer here and they start kind of breaking up the bricks. Now, what they do with those is then they start throwing those at the police. And it's in this incredible video. We see someone doing it, and then 4 guys jump on him, and then they take him and then they hand him over to the police. That's in line with what I was seeing yesterday as well. Protesters had stood in front of a police car. They were not letting the police car forward. They weren't touching it, but they wouldn't let it forward. It was a mark of respectful protest. One person came out of the crowd and started trying to break the back window. The crowd started booing, telling him to get away. The vast majority of these people do not want these protests to end in violence. But as the night goes on, what we're seeing across the country, a lot of these protests do tend to end in violence. That's it for the moment, but we'll be keeping you informed across the night.